Kaiju number 1 is the first ever identified kaiju to be given an ID number. Since then, only 14 other kaiju have been given ID numbers. It is known as the Future Sight Kaiju because of its ability to somewhat see the future. The kaiju can also do basic observation stuff like analyzing opponents and even seeing through them. The way its abilities work is similar to Observation Haki and Advanced Observation Haki from One Piece. Ultimately, the Defense Force succeeded in killing this kaiju and they then turned its corpse into a numbers weapon. Numbers weapons are basically suits made out of the corpses of their respective kaiju, so that the Defense Force can then use the abilities of the respective kaiju to fight against other kaiju. Kaiju number 1 was turned into Numbers Weapon 1. This weapon is now being used by Japan's strongest anti-kaiju fighter, Gen Narumi. Gen is Captain Levi of this manga. He is so skilled that the kind of things he sometimes pulls off don't even make sense. He is able to make better use of Kaiju number 1's foresight ability than the kaiju itself ever did. Even though the weapon has the same power, Gen has improved the foresight ability to the point where it can even analyze and keep track of environmental factors like temperature and terrain. Kaiju number 2 is the second kaiju to ever receive an ID number. It's also known as the Great Kaiju of Destruction because it nearly destroyed the largest city in Hokkaido back when it first appeared in 1972. Yes, this kaiju has enough destructive power to completely level and destroy an entire city. I guess that's also why it's so similar to Godzilla in terms of its appearance. If we're talking about its abilities, then this kaiju could unleash powerful sonic blasts and other kinds of destructive energy attacks, like electromagnetic energy attacks. Add this with the fact that it was a walking embodiment of destruction in terms of physical prowess, and it makes sense why it's called the Great Kaiju of Destruction. It was also defeated by the Defense Force, and they then turned its corpse into a numbers weapon for Isao Shinomiya. This man once used to be the strongest soldier in the Defense Force, just like how Gen is the strongest now. Gen himself also said that he could never beat Isao, and of course, one of the reasons why Isao was so strong in his prime is because of Kaiju number 2. After Kaiju number 2 became a numbers weapon, Isao was able to use it to produce the same sonic blasts, but with even greater range. Isao could also use energy attacks, even the kind of attack that once almost completely destroyed Sapporo City of Hokkaido. Not to mention the fact that Isao could use a shield and protect himself from even more dangerous kaiju, like Berserker Kaiju number 8 and Kaiju number 9. Overall, I'd say that even though Kaiju number 1 was the first to appear, Kaiju number 2 made a better impression on the human race. During the Kaiju weapon arc, Kaiju number 9, the main antagonist, absorbs Kaiju number 2's power, and so it is no longer a numbers weapon. Kaiju number 4 is the numbers weapon of one of the main protagonists, Kikoru Shinomiya. It's a massive flying type kaiju with 3 eyes and a lot of teeth. Naturally, it can fly, and it can fly at an insane speed. Of course, it was defeated by the Defense Force and turned into a numbers weapon. But considering how it is the fastest numbers weapon yet, we can assume that Kaiju number 4 itself was also the fastest kaiju at that point. The weapon lets the user manifest wings and fly at high speeds just like Kaiju number 4 itself. And then the user can simply slay other kaiju faster than the human eye can follow. Plus, it is also the only numbers weapon that has ever had more than one user. The current user is Kikoru Shinomiya, but before her, it was worn by her mother, Hikari Shinomiya. Kaiju number 6 is considered the king of kaiju. I know I said that Kaiju number 2 resembles Godzilla, but the Kaiju number 6 is the one actually based on Godzilla. The king of kaiju is a direct reference to Godzilla's title as the king of the monsters. 10 years before the start of the main story, this kaiju resulted in the deaths of 200 defense officers and 3 captains. Kikoru's mother, Hikari, was also one of the victims. It was eventually taken down and converted into a numbers weapon, but no one was compatible enough with this weapon, at least not until the main story started. This makes sense because Kaiju number 6 had a fortitude level of 9.6. That is the second highest fortitude level ever recorded, and it is only surpassed by the protagonist Kafka himself. Guys, fortitude is basically the amount of power a kaiju can release at any given moment. No wonder Kaiju number 6 is considered the king of kaiju. It has shown the greatest fortitude level of any pure kaiju ever. If we're talking about abilities, then its primary ability is cytokinesis. It can cause giant snowstorms and bring about the kind of weather that made people also call this kaiju the symbol of despair. After it was ultimately taken down and turned into a numbers weapon, the weapon continued to emit a cold aura for the next 10 years until Rino Ichikawa, one of the main characters, was shown to be compatible with this weapon. Guys, this is by by far the most powerful and the most dangerous weapon the Defense Force has ever created. The fact that it took 10 years to find a compatible soldier is a testament to Kaiju number 6's pedigree. And even now, after all that has happened, Reno has only been able to use as much as 51% of the weapon's power. That's more than enough in most cases though, because Reno can freeze most enemies with a mere touch, even at a fraction of the suit's power. The Numbers weapon suit also gives him crazy speed, reflexes, and endurance. Truly, the king of